Welcome to the deep dive. We dig into the details so you don't have to. Today we're looking at something pretty wild, a story about hunting down some famously dangerous seafood. We're talking pufferfish, fugu, but getting it incredibly cheap, like ridiculously cheap. The story starts at this place called the Weird Fish Guy's Shop.
Yeah, it's less a shopping trip, more like a culinary adventure, maybe even a heist, like you said. We're diving into how someone used, well, a mix of luck, knowing the seasons, and some very specific knowledge to get this super risky delicacy for way, way less than usual. Our goal here is to unpack the tricks, the legal side, the cooking side, even the geography involved in finding a deal like this.
And the main find is kind of unbelievable. Natural tiger pufferfish, the good stuff, for 2,500 yen. Now, for anyone listening who doesn't follow this stuff, that price is just, it's insane. Normally, you're looking at over 10,000 yen, maybe 15,000 in winter, right?
Easily, sometimes even more. So 2,500 is practically unheard of for natural tiger fugu. But you have to understand why. It wasn't like a planned fugu fishing trip. The source says this fish, caught totally by accident, by a sardine boat of all things.
A sardine boat. Okay, so it's pure luck, like finding a diamond in your fish and chips.
Pretty much. A very specific, slightly dangerous diamond. Because it was an accidental catch, the whole pricing structure just changed. And crucially, they put it on ice immediately, straight away. So the freshness was perfect, top quality. But the price, it tanked because it completely bypassed the usual expensive fugu supply chain.
That's fascinating. So it's like arbitrage, but for fish based on a boat catching the wrong thing.
Exactly. And they didn't just catch one. The haul included other types too, like panther puffer, that's Sigen fugu, and smooth gold puffer, Saba fugu. A whole bunch of risky but delicious fish, all thanks to this one lucky sardine boat.
It really shows that knowing your supplier, this weird fish guy, and the story behind the catch, can be more important for the price than just the species name.
Absolutely. Local knowledge is key in these kinds of markets.
Okay, let's get to the big question, the scary one, safety. Pufferfish means tetrodotoxin, right? Deadly poison. How did this person manage to eat this without needing a licensed chef and ending up, well,
Right. That's the critical part. And this is where understanding the rules is paramount. Normally, yes, you absolutely need a special license to prepare fugu. That license means the chef knows exactly how to remove the toxic parts. Liver, ovaries, skin, sometimes super carefully.
So what's the workaround here? How did they do it at home?
It's about when the dangerous part happens. The source points out the fish was bought already cleaned, pre-cleaned, meaning a certified professional somewhere else already did the risky organ removal. Once that's done, the remaining flesh is safe. So buying the cleaned meat and just slicing it for sashimi or putting it in a hot pot at home, totally legal.
Okay. So you outsource the life or death bit. Smart. You're just buying the safe end product. But even cleaned, you still want to prepare it right. They mentioned a specific cutting style, daimyo style.
Yeah, that's a neat technique, daimyo oroshi. You cut the fish basically in half down the bone, but you intentionally leave quite a bit of meat on the bones. It seems wasteful at first, maybe. But that bone-in meat isn't really for the sashimi. It's designed to give incredible flavor to the soup, the hot pot you make later. It's clever.
2 dishes from one cut. And they also said peeling the skin was tough work.
Oh yeah, fugu skin is notoriously difficult. It's thick, rubbery. Getting it off cleanly takes skill and effort. But you often cook the skin too, so preparing it right is important for the texture in the final meal. Adds this unique chewy element.
Now the flavor, this is interesting. It was cheap because it was caught just before peak winter season. But the source claims this timing gave it peak flavor. How does that work? That sounds backwards.
It does. It sounds like a contradiction. But it's this seasonal sweet spot. See, as fish head into the cold winter, they build up fat. Catch it too early, it's lean. Catch it deep in winter, sometimes the fat can be almost too much or the texture changes. This pre-winter timing, it means the fat content was just right. Perfect balance.
So enough fat for richness and sweetness, but not overwhelmingly so.
Exactly. You're hitting the fish's metabolic peak for flavor, apparently. But because it's not officially winter fugu season yet, the price hasn't spiked. You get the best taste without the peak season cost.
That's incredible. Deep culinary knowledge paying off. So they had this perfectly timed fish. What did they make? Classic fugu dishes, I assume?
Yep. First, sashimi. Thinly sliced, of course. Served with the traditional condiments. momiji oroshi.
That's the grated daikon radish and chili?
Right, that spicy radish paste and some chopped green onions. Very important because fugu itself is subtle. Delicate flavor, amazing texture, the unique chewiness, but it needs those sharp, pungent partners.
The condiments provide the contrast. And then the hot pot, techuri.
The famous techuri. And the recipe they use sounds almost too simple.
How simple?
Just the leftover bits, the head, the bones with that meat left on, the collar, the skin simmered with kombu, that's dried kelp, and a bit of salt. That's basically it. The idea is just pure extraction, gently pulling all that umami and collagen from the bones and skin without masking it.
But there was one little extra trick mentioned, right? Adding grated daikon to the boiling broth. Why do that?
Yeah, that's a clever move. Kind of an old school technique. When you add grated daikon to boiling liquid like that, the starch and fibers act like a natural emulsifier. It helps keep the tiny bits of fat and gelatin suspended in the broth, stops it separating. The source said it makes the broth silky smooth. It really elevates the texture from just fish stock to something more luxurious.
Wow, that's the kind of detail that makes a difference. Before we leave the fugu, they specifically called out one part as being amazing, the color.
Oh yeah, the source absolutely raved about the collar, said it was insanely good. And that makes sense. The collar, kama in Japanese, is right behind the head, often one of the richest, fattiest, most gelatinous parts. Dipping that in ponzu, the citrus soy sauce, the richness hits the sharp acid. It's just a perfect bite. Savory, fatty, tangy, great texture too.
Okay, so the fugu was a huge success. Risky, but pre-cleaned, perfectly timed, and delicious. But the adventure didn't stop there, did it? There was another find. A mystery item. This tengunishi shell.
Yeah, this was the bonus round. A real impulse purchase, apparently.
Yeah.
Only 200 yen for this shell called tengunishi. The chopper said they'd seen it before, but never actually tried it. And this one comes with its own hidden danger, completely different from the fugu.
Right, not tetrodotoxin this time. So we need to be clear here. What's the risk with tengunishi?
This is really interesting. Tengunishi contains a different toxin called tetramin. Now, tetramin isn't usually fatal like fugu's tetrodotoxin, but it's definitely not harmless. It can cause some nasty symptoms, severe headaches, vision problems, sometimes even temporary paralysis. It's serious intoxication.
Okay, so still dangerous, but maybe a different level of danger. And is it found throughout the shellfish?
No, and that's the key difference. Unlike fugu toxin, which is in multiple organs and the skin, tetramine in tengunishi is very localized. It's found only in the internal organs and the salivary glands, so preparation is absolutely mandatory. You have to remove those specific parts surgically. But once you do that, the actual muscle meat is considered safe to eat.
So it requires careful, specific cleaning, knowing the anatomy of the shellfish. They also mentioned it was physically hard just to get into the shell.
Yeah, the source described it as a real struggle, just cracking the thing open to get the meat out. And then the prep itself was involved. Lots of washing, and then soaking it in vinegar water. Apparently that's crucial to remove a natural sliminess.
Interesting. And the local expert, the weird fish guy, he wasn't even convinced it was worth eating. Said it tasted bad.
He was skeptical.
Yeah.
Which, sets up a nice little taste test. They prepared it 2 ways, raw and grilled.
Okay, how did that turn out? Raw first.
Raw, they served it with hibesu, which is another Japanese citrus, kind of like lemon or lime. They sliced the firmer part of the meat thinly. The description was basically firm texture, clean taste, but packed with umami. A very pure, direct shellfish flavor and chew.
And grilled. Did cooking change it much?
Completely. For grilling, they put the clean meat back into the shell, added some soy sauce and sake, and cooked it that way. The flavor became much more complex. Softer texture, aromatic from sake and soy, but also a distinct bitterness came through. The source called it a grown-up taste.
Huh. From simple umami to complex and slightly bitter. Sounds intriguing.
Definitely. Not necessarily a crowd pleaser maybe, but interesting for an adventurous palate.
So looking back at the whole thing, the 2,500 yen fugu, this 200 yen risky shell, and they also mention some small princess turban shells that were good. It really feels like a massive win for someone who knew what they were doing right. High risk, high reward bargain hunting. The fugu was sweet, fatty, perfect. The little turban shells were apparently delicious too, creamy and bittersweet.
It's a perfect example of finding incredible value, where most people would just see danger or, accidental bycatch. The value was unlocked by that lucky catch, yes. but also by the shopper's knowledge, knowing it was pre-cleaned, knowing the timing was right for peak flavor.
But then to kind of ground this story, the source brought in a totally different kind of high-end product. No risk, no luck involved, just pure quality control. They talked about farm-raised salmon from Tottori Prefecture.
Exactly. It's the complete opposite end of the spectrum. We go from the wild, unpredictable, dangerous ocean catch to something meticulously engineered. This Tottori salmon is raised in super clear water, often mountain spring water, in controlled environments, not the sea.
And what's the result? What makes it premium?
It's all about consistency and refinement. Because of the clean water and specific feed, they say it has almost no fishy smell, which some people dislike in salmon. And it's bred or raised for specific qualities. Really rich, naturally sweet flavor, and a predictable, perfect level of fat. You pay more, maybe a lot more, but you get a guaranteed high-quality experience every single time.
That's what's reliable. You know exactly what you're getting. Versatile, too, they mentioned. Good for sashimi, grilling.
Totally versatile. Perfect raw in sashimi or carpaccio. Grills beautifully. It's the reliable luxury choice. So you've got these two paths. The thrilling, dangerous, lucky, cheap find, like the Fugu and Tengu Nishi, versus the guaranteed, perfect, safe, but expensive farm salmon.
It really makes you think about what gourmet or luxury even means in food, doesn't it?
It does. With the Fugu, you're sort of paying for the story, the risk management, the cleaning labor, the sheer luck. With the Tottori salmon, you're paying for the science, the environmental control, the R&D that guarantees that texture and taste. One is an investment in an adventure, the other is like buying culinary insurance.
So wrapping this up, what's the main takeaway for you listening? We've seen how knowing the details, seasonality, the specific regulations about pre-cleaning, careful handling can turn something potentially deadly into an amazing meal for hardly any money. Knowledge really is power here.
Yeah, the core lesson is that high-end food isn't just about the price tag, it's about access. And you can get access through incredible luck, like that sardine boat, or through incredible control, like the salmon farm. But in the case of the wild, risky stuff, you absolutely have to know how to navigate the danger, whether it's Fugu's tetrodotoxin or Tengu Nishi's tetramine.
Okay, let's leave you with a final thought to chew on. We've got the guaranteed, flawless Taro salmon on one hand, and the lucky, dangerous, but thrilling Fugu and Tengu Nishi haul on the other. If a big part of the enjoyment of food is the story behind it, the hunt, the risk, the near miss, does the perfectly safe, predictable, maybe slightly boring farmed salmon lack something essential? Is the ultimate gourmet experience just about the taste on the plate, or is it also about the narrative, the journey it took to get there? Something to think about.